Hello YouTube. Hello. Excuse me, just studying my camera. Right. Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious. What I'm doing is, what happened was I discovered, and as a result of what I'm doing, right, discovered amongst an old, I had an old like a metal CD wallet thing. It was lovely, dead posh, like metallic, and I don't know where I found it from. I found it just before, and it had some blank DVDs in there. Yeah, I think it was a case for like cufflinks or something, clothes, like posh clothes, and I've used it to store blank DVDs in, caseless DVDs in, right? I had about 5 in there. Dead similar size to a CD wallet, but it was metallic and beautiful, like something which held posh thing, accessories or clothes. I don't know where. I remember years ago I found it, where I found it from, but I remember using it to hold DVDs in. You know when you get rid of the cases and you got the DVDs? I found that just a minute ago, yeah? And inside it, well, one of the DVDs was the second Fast and the Furious film, yeah? Too Fast, Too Furious, right? And that was this morning, and it's 6:15 GMT, British summertime now. That was early this morning. And then I just thought, right, I'll play it. Amongst all the other DVDs, 3 or 4 other DVDs in there, I took that one out and I put it in my main TV in the living room. I just put it on, and then, as a result, I was inspired straight away to do a run-up. Like, my thoughts, I'm going to watch each movie and do my thoughts and how I feel, in my opinion, on each movie to the run-up to Fast 7, is it? Now, on Wikipedia, that's cutting a long story short, what I done was I put Fast 2 on, as I said, that was this morning, and then I went to bed during it for an hour. Paul Walker, there's a prelude on the DVD, Too Fast, Too Furious. There's like a prelude, a short film trailer at the beginning of it. Wikipedia calls it in that one. Wikipedia calls it, I don't know what to call it there. I've got it. Alright. It's on the first Fast page. Wikipedia calls it. I've got half an hour, 26 minutes to do this, so I'm aware I can waffle, so just bear with me. Wikipedia calls it a short film was attached to the DVD, the second DVD release of the first Fast and Furious film. Okay, called it's called Turbocharged Prelude, right? And it was like a short film attached, like I say, to the first Fast and Furious film, second release on DVD. When the sequel was coming out, it was a re-release of the first film, just prior to the second film, its sequel, Too Fast, Too Furious, which is the film I've just watched on DVD, released at the cinemas to promote said film. And on it, there was a turbocharged prelude, and it was a short film that set the tone for the film sequel, which is Too Fast, Too Furious. And it also goes on to say here, on the DVD release, the general release of Too Fast, Too Furious, there's like an edited version of the prelude right at the beginning, an option if you want to watch it or not. Now, the full length turbocharged prelude, it says here, 6 minutes. The edited down version, it's at least 5. It's at least 5 minutes. I thought it was just a trailer initially. Just simply a trailer for Too Fast, Too Furious, just prior to me watching it. And then it was like watching it, and I was like watching it, and I was like, hey, what's going on here? If you've seen the turbocharged prelude, you know what I mean, just Paul Walker's in it. None of the other actors are in it, characters are in it from the first Fast and Furious film. Because it's only Paul Walker who carries over into the second film. So what they've done, long story short, the filmmakers, I don't know whether it was the new director who did Too Fast and Furious or the old director who did Fast and the Furious. They've come up with this little short film which takes Paul Walker's character from the first film up to the second film, Too Fast and Furious, and that's why none of the other characters, none of the other actors are in it. I was watching it, thinking just a trailer, and I was watching thinking, well, why aren't, I was actually thinking as I was watching it, once I got onto the fact that it wasn't just a trailer, I was thinking, well, this has got to be like a little short. I presumed it was like a build-up, so I presumed then, before it came to my computer. And as I was watching, I was thinking, where are all the other actors in it, character actors in it? And then I put two and two together, and then I come to my computer, throw Wikipedia on, as you do, and it says here, it set the tone for my curiosity, it satisfied my curiosity, and if you know what the turbocharged prelude is all about, I'll say no more. The film Too Fast, Too Furious literally leads on from where the prelude takes you, leaves off. So what I'm going to do, what I did was, I get back to what I was saying. This morning when I found the DVD, I put it on. The reason I mentioned the prelude there is because when I put it on this morning, I watched the prelude like I was saying before I went into the movie Too Fast, Too Furious. The prelude must have been filmed, it was filmed a while before Too Fast, Too Furious was filmed, right in the middle of the 3-year gap between the two films. And what struck me, I went to bed after watching about the first half hour of Too Fast, Too Furious. I went to bed just to get an hour. And my eyes welled up because Paul Walker was just so young. He looks like a boy in the prelude, and I was just really getting into Paul Walker. I'm only recently getting into films, right? The last 4 or 5 years, I've only just recently started getting into movies, and Paul Walker's films were one of the first, like, his films, right, films he was in. I think it was Fast 5 was getting made when I started getting into movies of late. He did Out the Blue. That was one of the first Blu-rays I bought of late when I first got back into movies in the last 4 or 5 years. To me, Paul Walker, right, was how Kim Wilde was to me for music back in the 80s, right. Kim Wilde wasn't someone who I wanted to sleep with, go to bed with, right, have sex with. Even though I was attracted to her, but she just wasn't someone who I wanted to go to bed with, right. Paul Walker, the same, is that I was in the bath then, I was thinking, how can I equivalate why I'm so like affected by Paul Walker and his death, and why it took me when I was in my bed, my eyes were welling up over the fact, and it's not the sexual attraction thing. My mind came up with this thing. It came to me, the thought, it's the same comparable thing, yeah, as the way I perceived Kim Wilde in the 80s. As much as I was into her music, I didn't want to sleep with her. Don't know, that's just the way it was. Just the way it was. Paul Walker, I really liked his films. I don't know. I just something about his character style, his acting style. There's just something about him, right? And there is something about him which I felt the same way with Kim Wilde, and it was just an awful amount of sympathy I had for the person and for Kim Wilde, the actor Paul Walker. It's the same kind of sympathy trip. It's the same kind of empathy thing. I must see something in the two people. The analogy, as the analogy struck me, yeah. There's just something about when he died which affected me, something terrible, something wicked. Like the same way with Kim Wilde, now that she's recycling all other artist material and she's still pumping on, trying to reproduce the same success she had in the 1890s. It's like that. It's as upsetting as his death is as upsetting as that is to me in regards to Kim Wilde. It's just, I see a certain empathy for both, and that's the comparable. The analogies come to me, struck me. I was in bed and I'd seen the Prelude, and he's just a boy in it. So you can imagine how, I've not seen the first Fast and Furious film, so I can only imagine how young he must have been in the first Fast and Furious looking. It's not like, oh God, he's dead and all that crap now. It's just like, that's like happened and that's in the past. But what I'm doing now, I've been inspired to do this. Alright? Been inspired to do this. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to watch the first Fast and Furious. These aren't going to be reviews. These are just going to be like, how I see the films, how they affect me now as I'm watching them. The build up to 215, presumably the summer of 215, when Fast and Furious, if Fast and Furious 7 gets a release. I'm just flicking through Wikipedia now, going through each film in turn, and it does actually have a page for Fast 7 here. And I've not clicked on it yet, but I will do now live for you. I hope to God I've got enough time. Super, not even halfway through. Fantastic. Bear with me, bear with me. Okay. So what's up? It's come to me. What I'm going to do is this, but I've not seen. The only film I've seen in the series is Too Fast, Too Furious, as I have it on DVD. Fast 7, April 2015, the spring of 2015. So I've got to get me shit together here. The only movie I own is Too Fast, Too Furious. It's the second film. It's the only one I own. I don't have on-demand movie TV. I do, but I don't access it. Right? I just don't. I don't bother with any of that. If I want to watch a movie, I'll actually either go to the cinema to watch it, or I'll buy it on disc. It's amazing how many DVDs you can buy and Blu-rays you can buy if you throw the cases away and keep them in those blank wallets. You can keep thousands, you can store thousands in literally a space like that. Fast 7, upcoming 215 American action film. Now, I'm not even going to go there now because it'll start to upset me. I just find the whole thing with Paul Walker it's just brought it all back to me. It's the fact that in that Prelude, he was just so fucking young looking, like a boy, and just how I've latched on to this inspiration to do this, because the potential, the thought of how it's going to be come next spring when Fast 7 hits cinemas worldwide. That's what's latched me in to grab onto this inspirational thought I've had based on that Prelude on the disc before the film Too Fast, Too Furious starts. The turbocharged Prelude. I've gripped onto this, and I'm going to do this. But what I'm going to say to you is I'm not going to do each film because it will just be too upsetting for me. I'm not going to. I was in the bath then thinking that that very thing, it will simply be too upsetting for me. You know, you leave your emotions away from the camera, don't you? You bring to the camera, you know, the camera you. But I'm not going to put myself through that off camera, because it will destroy me, to be honest with you. I'm not going to do that. I thought to myself, I'm going to do 2, which I have currently, so I can get cracking on that. I'm going to buy 4, and I'm going to buy 5, and I'm going to buy 6. I'll be able to get them dirt cheap to build and lead into Fast 7's cinematic release in spring, April of next year, and I'm going to do them sporadically throughout this year, and possibly leave one for the spring, early spring next year. I'm going to leave a lot of space in between each one. It's going to destroy me doing this. If I think I can manage to do the first one, I don't know. I don't want to do the first one. I just don't want to. It destroyed me, the prelude. No, I'm not doing it. End of. Not doing it. Not doing it. As I said, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to leave 3 out because 3 wasn't canon. 2. I'm going to do 4. I'm going to do 5. And then I'm going to do 6. And I will obviously live vlog when I go to see the 7th one. So I thought I would just do this video now whilst it's fresh in my mind. I've just come out of the bath and I've just been like that, right, come straight and do this video. I hope you bear with me. So as I say, they're not going to be straight reviews for the movie, each movie. They're just not going to be. They're going to be basically my thoughts on watching them in the here and now. So on that note, I will see you soon for my thoughts on Too Fast and Furious. Too Fast and... how's it called? Too Fast and Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious. See you then.